Hello everybody, Disciple here with Overwatch Curios. Now Jeff Kaplan and crew over at Blizzard have been one of the most vocal and community interactive development teams gaming has really ever seen. Everything from developer update videos, to forum interactions tackling some community questions and comments, to hosting multiple AMAs on social media, they've pretty much been all over the place since Overwatch's announcement and release. All of this interaction has really helped the fans learn all they can about Overwatch and just about every facet of its development, design, and mechanics. But there are still a few fun hidden facts that even the most die-hard fans probably don't know about Overwatch, but that we've worked very hard to uncover for you guys. So get your trivia hats on, and let's dive right in. Now everyone knows that Overwatch had its origins in a massively multiplayer online game codenamed Didnt. Didnt was a huge endeavor spanning multiple teams and aiming to be a very ambitious and high-quality title upon release. Of course, that never happened as Didnt was shut down and a new project emerged that would become Overwatch. Now this project also had a code name which you might not know, Prometheus. This was a title before the team had really settled on a name for the game, and it's actually really interesting how the titles Prometheus and Didnt share common traits and show a path of progression and symbolic meaning. Prometheus was a Titan himself from Greek mythology. Just in the two names alone, you can probably see this clear progression from a more generic noun of Titan to the particular Titan named Prometheus. This shows a more focused meaning of the project title, since in mythology, Prometheus was, in all accounts, the protector and benefactor of all mankind. Now does that sound familiar? In Overwatch lore, the organization itself was created to benefit and protect mankind after the Omnic Crisis. So it makes pretty perfect sense that from the ashes of the large and broad project named Didnt comes Prometheus, a smaller, more specific and focused theme. It's not really clear on exactly when the team decided on the name Overwatch, but judging from the evolution of one project's name to another, it's safe to assume they had the Protector of Mankind theme somewhere in the mix from the very beginning. Now Overwatch is chock full of voice acting with dozens of important, quirky, funny, and interconnecting voice lines, and each hero has his or her specific voice actor to do them all, of course. Each one is highly characterized with a lot of personality, language, and inflections.
These are my favorite.
Up, go, you're preparing.
Time to raise my APM. Nerf this! Are you even trying? Oh, Diva style. LOL. 게임을 하면 이겨야지.
One hero in particular has a set of voice lines that might be music just about anyone's ears, and those are the lines of Angela Mercy Ziegler, everyone's favorite flying healer. A little known fact about Mercy, however, is that her voice actor actually changed after the very first round of closed beta. Now many heroes had their voice lines changed, redone, or removed, but Mercy's the only hero to actually have had a different voice actor than the original, and you might remember the original yourself if you played or watched any of the very first round of beta, but I know a lot of you guys are newer and I thought that was a really cool fact. Now Blizzard dropped some info into the beta patch notes back in March of 2016, saying that when casting for Overwatch, we often try to find actors who are fluent in the character's native language. In the case of Mercy, we were able to find an actress that captured both the essence of the character and was able to speak German, which you'll be able to hear in this version. Replacing the voice actor for Mercy was done to preserve the quality that spans across all of the voice acting in the game and put it in line with what an English-speaking Swiss woman might sound like. While some fans of the previous Mercy's voice acting spoke up, most of the community has come to recognize and enjoy Mercy's voice lines as they are today. Now, Soldier 76 has always been wrapped up in mystery and a deep background lore-wise in Overwatch. We know he began as Jack Morrison, a US super soldier, and ended up fighting alongside other soldiers when Overwatch was just a task force during the Omnic Crisis. After the fall of Overwatch, the world thought Jack Morrison was dead, yet he survived the encounter and went into hiding, preparing himself to one day resurface as Soldier 76. However, 76's origins at Blizzard go way farther back than just the early Overwatch development. Take the Wayback Machine to 2004 and see a young Chris Metzen who, at the time, was voice acting, writing, and helping to direct parts of World of Warcraft. As a side project, Metzen had actually been working on a comic anthology with Digital Webcomic Comics. number 16 in this series actually featured the original Soldier 76 and all of his late 90s, early 2000s glory. The story is about a weathered American soldier returning home after many years to find his homeland fractured by the Second American Civil War, Metzen said at the time. Ultimately, he must make peace with all the ghosts of his past before he chooses sides and restores the American dream. So, the idea of Soldier 76 is actually closer to 20 years old, and somewhere in Overwatch's development cycle, Metzen and the dev team decided that he'd fit right into this universe. There are quite a few similarities as well if you look at it. This whole fractured by the Second American Civil War piece relates very closely to the world itself being divided by Omnics and humans at war with each other, as well as Overwatch being fractured by Reyes and the division between the two soldiers' ideologies. From the images of the late 90s Soldier, you can see a remarkable similarity in color scheme, stature, and mystery surrounding him as compared to the Soldier 76 we know today. Even the time frame seems kind of similar, as the Second American Civil War could have no doubt taken place in a near future Earth, just as the Omnic Crisis has. Judging by the mask covering his face, the old 76 and new 76 share another facet, using mystery as an element in combat and legend. Of course, our Jack Morrison wears a tactical visor while the old 76 seems to have a full head and neck covering, but the idea definitely remains similar. In the comic story, the hero Soldier 76 suffers amnesia after a botched mission and attempts to return home to America. When he arrives home to find the war-torn state, he discovers he has a microchip implanted in his head to give him abilities that surpass normal soldiers. Still suffering from amnesia, he needs to figure out what's going on to choose a side. You can easily see how a lot of that story has a parallel in Overwatch. The name, that he's an old soldier, the enhancements from being a super soldier, and you could say that he was the very first Overwatch hero in a way, just Chris Metzen didn't know it at the time. One thing that so many of us as gamers take for granted is audio and sound effects for the games that we play. We're really used to high-def, realistic sounds that are really well done, that they often go unnoticed. But it actually takes a lot of trial, error, editing, and time to get just the right sounds to fit with all the other sounds in the game and really immerse the players into the action. One of the most used and often overlooked sounds that you might think was super easy to produce was actually the Hitmarker you hear every time your attacks connect with the target in Overwatch. You may not even know what I'm talking about, it's so subtle and happens so often, if you're good enough. But the little chip sound you hear when you hit your target actually comes from the sound team at Blizzard, and it's actually a beer bottle being opened, only in reverse. Yeah, someone thought, hey, I wonder what that sound of opening a beer would make if we reversed it, and there it was, made it into the game, and it's actually incredibly iconic now. Though according to the dev team, it wasn't a one-shot deal. It apparently took them freaking forever to find just the sound they needed to fit in the game. Most of us think that creating sounds is an easy part of the game development because, well, just make the thing record the sound, right? But there's so much more to the process. Oftentimes, creating certain sounds takes innovation and using other sounds and objects to get the required noise. Take Reinhardt's hammer down, for example. The team didn't just create a giant rocket hammer and find a 10-foot tall guy to swing it at a bunch of times. They had to try different materials at different weights, sizes, thicknesses, etc. to find a sound that made sense in everyone's brain and said, yeah, that's a heavy hammer hitting someone in the face. There's no telling how many different things or combinations that the team went through both physically and digitally to get the sound we make when we shoot someone, and the UI tells us it's a hit, but if you ask anyone, I bet they didn't know a beer bottle being opened backwards would have been it. Now, voice acting is also a big deal in video games nowadays, as we've talked about earlier with Mercy. But there's one hero that you probably didn't know had voice acting done in a very interesting way. Bastion, with all of his beeps and boops, is actually the voice of none other than Chris Metzen, albeit filtered heavily through software and voice modulations to sound like a robot. Metzen has a massive list of voice acting credits across all of Blizzard franchises, with notable examples such as Warcraft's Thrall and Varian Wrynn, StarCraft 2's Battlecruiser, King Leoric from Diablo, and now Overwatch's Bastion. You'd think that the dev team would have chosen mechanical sounds and repetitive noises for Bastion, but if you listen closely, you can definitely hear a very human tone and personality to the cute but deadly Omnic. And Metzen's sense of humor and personality kinda start to show through once you put two and two together. This decision to stick with a voice actor instead of random sounds from a computer really gives life to the hero and gives him all of the personality you could ask for in a soulless killing machine. Now, even in a game with such a connection between the development team and players as Overwatch has, it's super fun to learn about these little hidden gems that you might not have known about. There's probably a lot more trivia and Easter eggs that I still don't know about, and if you've got any favorites, please let me know, because I really love to hear from you guys. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you guys want any more videos in the future, go ahead and subscribe so you can see them in your feeds. And anyway, I'll see you next time. Peace.